I really want to make sure that every single person that goes and experiences a picnic with us, that they just really feel like it was especially perfect for them.
Welcome to the Heart of Fauquier podcast. We're here to highlight the stories of local business owners around the area because we believe that business owners are at the heart of any community. It's not just about bringing awareness to the businesses, but seeing the faces, hearing the stories, and learning the mindsets behind the success. Now let's join our host Austin, owner of Bedrosian Cleaning Services, with today's special guest.
Welcome to the Heart of Fauquier podcast. I'm your host Austin, and today we have a special guest, Kara Drinkwater. Thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Thanks for having me. This is a big honor.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And I actually started following her business on social media, which I learned is a very new business, which is super exciting, but Warrenton Picnic Company. So we're going to talk a little bit about Kara and her brand new company and what they have going on. Just to get started with some things, if you could tell our audience who you are and what Warrenton Picnic Company is.
Great, absolutely, thank you. So I'm Kara Drinkwater, and I am originally from upstate New York, and I have lived in the Warrenton area since about 2006. And it's a great place for us, my family, to raise our 3 boys. We have 2 kids at Kettle Run and 1 at Ritchie now. So we love this area, and we have found it to be just a really small, wholesome community. We love that when we travel from, one town to the next, we can really feel that we're in Warrenton. Like, we know when we're back home because there's a nice little span of space in between driving from Fairfax to Centerville or any of those other towns where you don't really kind of know you're going from one town to the next. But once you arrive in Warrenton, you know you're in Warrenton. So we really love that about this area. And my business is actually, like you said, it's really very brand new. And the Warrenton Picnic Company is a service that provides stylists. They're all local teachers or friends or other creative moms that go to decorate the picnic for you. And it's really just an opportunity to get together with your friends or your family to sit and enjoy time with one another. And we'll go to local parks, we'll go to wineries or breweries. In addition, we'll even go to your own residence if that's something you're interested in. We do indoor picnics, we do outdoor picnics, we do office parties, we do birthday parties for children, anniversaries, or just no celebration at all, really just a gathering of people for fun. Exactly. Yeah. So that's basically our service. It started off as just picnics, and then recently, with the cold weather coming, we had a lot of people asking, like, do you have any warmer options? And so I kind of went out of my range a little bit and did go and purchase a bell tent. And it's a 16.5-foot diameter tent. And it's big and glamorous, and it's perfect for glamping. So that's something that we'll bring to your yard or farm or private residence and set that up so that you can have a really, gorgeous and, extra decorated glamping experience for the night or however many nights you want to rent it out for. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
and you even said you've done a wedding, not a wedding, but you helped
a wedding night.
Yeah.
So just this past Saturday, we did a wedding night for a young lady and out in Bealton, and that was a huge honor. That was just really special and unique, and that's an experience that I won't forget and that she won't forget. So
that's awesome.
It's really nice.
Very cool. So where did the idea even come from?
So when I was visiting my sister-in-law in Florida, she was sharing with me that there was a girl that was doing them on the beach in Florida. And I thought, well, that is really awesome. And she was like, you would be so good at this. This is something that is right up your alley, because I've always loved to decorate. I've always loved to set tables. I've always loved to be using my artistic talents. And I also love to shop. And so when I
have a
go,
reason to.
now
It's for business.
It's for business. That's right. And so if I go to Marshall's and I see a really beautiful set of bowls, I can use those for the picnic company, because these will be perfect for a beautiful tablescape. And then I can, turn around and use them again and again, and more people can enjoy them, And so, so that was something when she was talking to me about it, she was like, this is right up your alley. And there were a lot of pieces that I use in my picnics that I already own. Yeah. So a lot of the centerpieces, a lot of the pillows, some of the blankets, the silverwares, a lot of those things I already had inventory of, and I could just use those to add to my tablescapes.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of like, I put two and two together, and I thought, well, this might be something that I could afford to do to start.
Sure.
Because my biggest goal and dream, and I maybe we'll get to that later, but I've always wanted to own my own business.
Yeah.
And so, and somehow utilize my talents and creativity to benefit other people. And so when she showed me that idea, I was like, oh, this is something that I could do for Fauquier, because it will really bring people out here.
Yes.
And it will really draw people to, spend time in Fauquier County and, go to local parks and breweries, and like I said earlier, and really just kind of see how wonderful it is out here in our community.
Yeah, absolutely. It's another way to, complement the area.
Yeah.
I think I saw that you might have hosted something at Barrel Oak Winery even.
Yes.
So, and I've interviewed him, so that's another great place.
And Bob's wonderful. I just really enjoy too connecting with business owners. Yeah. It's just so nice to meet people that I didn't know before.
Yeah.
And we help each other out. Like, I'm able to bring people. The very first picnic I ever did was for a couple, and they had never been to Barrel Oak. And so it was just like, oh, this is great. And so perhaps they'll go back again because they really enjoyed their experience there. So it's nice to have that connection with business owners locally, but also to be able to bring people to our community to enjoy those places as well.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah.
And we said that it's a new business for you. You said it was September that you started. So
I started September 1st. Yeah, I announced in August on the community page. My husband and I and my family, we went to the beach in July, and at the end of July, I was sitting on vacation and I was filling out a business certificate.
Wow.
And the licenses and the insurance, and I was just like,
just jumped right on it.
I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And that one of the things about my nature is that when I have my mindset towards something, I make myself a list, and it's pretty much done that day. I don't sit still ever. That's just not my nature. If something needs to get done, it's done. And it's taken care of by, the deadline, and sometimes way before the deadline, because I just don't like things looming. And if something, is on my list, it's for sure going to be finished in a really fast manner.
Yeah, and that's perfect, especially for event planning and stuff like that. You have to be like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and I have a full-time job Monday through Friday, so I'm doing that, and then when that's done, I, quickly grab a bite to eat and maybe another cup of coffee, and then I start my second job, and it's organizing bins and getting ready for the weekend and responding to emails and, really making sure that everybody feels that they're getting 100% that customer service that they deserve as well.
Right.
Yeah,
there's a lot of work that goes into it before the Instagram picture people see.
Oh, yeah. So usually it's abnormal for me to go 5 or 6 hours and not respond to somebody via email. Like, I usually, as soon as someone emails me, like, it's a thing. I mean, everybody's usually on their phones, right? And so when I see that email come in, I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta respond and let them know right away. And people appreciate that. Like,
they do.
A lot of people have told me, after they're done with their picnic, like, you were so easy to work with and you were so responsive, and people appreciate that because, time and efficiency is important in running a business.
Yeah. And then during this time especially, I feel like people are all about, I got to get that text back or
Yes,
get that email back.
Instant.
Yeah, they want it
yes,
right away.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
So if you're able to do it, that's
Yeah.
perfect. It works with people.
Yeah.
Great. And also, I wanted to applaud you just for having a business on the side of a job too. I think that's so cool when
Thanks.
people do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people I've been able to interview either started like that or are still doing it like that.
Yeah.
With our business as well, my wife and I, we did it on the side,
Yeah.
and then eventually we're able to turn
Yeah.
it into full time.
Yeah.
And I just think that's so cool because some people they have this entrepreneurial spirit and they kind of want to get into it, but it's a little scary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
it can be very intimidating.
How do you get into it without it being too risky?
Yeah.
And if you're able to do something, part time to get your feet wet, see if you really enjoy it, is really beneficial.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's definitely been a learning curve. Like there's always something to do. And, there's been times where I'm packing a bin and I completely forget to put a table runner in it. And then one of my girls is on location and she's setting it up. And then later I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And something that bothers me, like the clients were like, probably never even noticed,
right?
But there's a lot of things to remember. There's a lot of things to do for something like that. But again, when you're just starting out, you just start to learn, oh, well, okay, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to make a checklist.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tape it to the top of the bin. And then I can go through it and mark it off and make sure that everything's in the bin before I send it off for a picnic with a stylist or before I take it myself to do.
Yep.
So those things are important to me.
Yeah.
I really want to make sure that every single person that goes and experiences a picnic with us, that they just really feel like it was especially perfect for them. And so that was one of the things when I was speaking to my girls, going through that quick little interview process, I was like, I'm not trying to make it like, to present myself as being pompous, but I want it to look like I did it.
Yeah.
And I'm like a little OCD. So I want it to look perfect and I want it to look beautiful. And every single one of them, I was like, send me a picture of your mantle or send me a picture of a party you've done or something fancy and gorgeous. And then I'll let you know. And so for that, it was pretty great. And they were all amazing, and I was like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. You don't need to send me a resume. Because no experience necessary, but if you have that visual talent, like I can see it right away. And so it was pretty cool, like, meeting other girls that love that kind of stuff just like me, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's nothing I would never be able to do any of that
Really?
stuff. No artisticness at all. So
Yeah.
that's why we need people like you around, I
Yeah.
guess, to make things look good.
Make it look pretty.
So,
That's right. Yeah.
My wife does
Yeah.
pretty good with it too, so she
Yeah.
fills that for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
What you were just talking about kind of leads into what I wanted to ask next. What's probably the biggest thing you've learned so far? I mean, you're at the beginning, but you've made some big jumps already. What are the biggest things you've learned about business or people, whatever it might be?
The biggest thing that I've learned is like, you really have to be understanding of people and where they're coming from. Unfortunately, I just had a girl who couldn't make it to a picnic. And it was already set up and I didn't get the notification right away. And I felt terrible. And I'm like, this was an event that she was really looking forward to. And so I'm like, well, can I bring it to you?
Yeah.
I'll bring it to your house. I know this isn't ideal, and it hasn't worked out. But I'm like, we'll reschedule. Like, yes, we've already got money invested into, what she ordered and all of that. And so there are some things that, as a business that I can't, just give away.
Sure.
But however, like, I want her to enjoy her picnic, and it's about, having that time and experience with who she wanted to bring along with her. And so we'll do everything we can to make sure that she still gets that experience and that opportunity. But you have to be compassionate for people. Like, you have to know that, things come up, people get sick, people have problems, last minute emergencies happen. And you really just have to be like, what it is, what it is. Like, is it the end of the world for me to go and bring it to your house and set it up? It's more work. No, but my pleasure comes in the joy that people get from sitting at one of my picnics.
Right.
And so, like, for, in situations like that, you just have to be like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not in the business of, like, trying to just make money off of people. For me, it's about bringing happiness to people.
Sure.
And that's the bottom line for me,
taking care of them. The person's more important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And people love that. And they come back because they really enjoyed it, So that part is really important to me.
Yeah, that's great. Great thing to learn right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can lose that. You can be so focused on the
Right.
business and things, and it's
Yeah, absolutely.
you can lose that touch pretty easily. So that's great.
Yep.
What's been one of your favorite sets that you've done so far?
Oh, it's really hard to choose because I've had a wedding, I've had a 27th anniversary, I've done a 7-year-old birthday party, which was so sweet. And he walked up and he had the biggest smile on his face and he was like, I love it, And so all of those little moments of joy. But, I really enjoyed the one that I just did over the weekend. It was one of my favorites. It was for an anniversary, and the couple had been married for 27 years. And she, ordered a small food board and the chocolate-covered strawberries, and, they had tea, and they went to the brewery, and they just had this beautiful view, and everything was set up so perfect. And then right before she left, she was like, this was just amazing. Like, this was just so wonderful. They were there for the entire 3 hours and then some, because I was actually running late to pick it up, which I was like, it's okay. And she had messaged me and she was like, we lost track of time, but we're still here. But I was like, that's so cool. Like, they were there for over 3 hours. Like, that's so awesome. And sometimes I have to actually pick it up right at the 3-hour mark so that I'm ready for the next event. Or to go and pick up another picnic before businesses close. But one of the things that was really great is that she said, I really enjoyed that you had those little tabletop cards on the table. And so are you familiar with what they are? So it's like just a little cube, and it has little table discussion cards on it. Yeah. And so I'm often in a thrift store. I'm often shopping and looking for things. And I came across 2 of those tabletop discussions, and one of them is for couples.
Okay.
And so I put it on the table, and, just as a suggestion. And I also have tic-tac-toe and a few other cards and stuff so that you can really enjoy your time together. Because sometimes, couples that have been married forever, or even young couples like yourself, when you're sitting and you're talking and then you just kind of lose what you're saying, and then you just kind of sit in quiet, or you people watch, or, and sometimes it's like that at restaurants. And so by having little games and little things, you can have them on the table. And so she and her husband had gone through, and she said, I really loved that tabletop thing that you had on the table with the questions or the conversation starters. She's like, we talked about things that we haven't talked about in 20 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. It gives me goosebumps. I'm like, that's wonderful. And I was like, I got that for $2.99 at a thrift shop, like, that's cool to me. That's awesome. And those are memories for people. Those are things that they're not going to forget. Like, they had a great time at a picnic for 3 hours and really enjoyed their time together. And that is what, again, is the most important thing to me. Like, I love that people aren't on their phones.
That's what I was just going to say. A lot of people, you don't have your phone or TV or,
distractions.
Things going on all over the place.
It's just about spending time with the people that you love and having that moment and those memories. They'll look back and be like, oh yeah, for our 27th wedding anniversary, we had an awesome picnic, and we sat there and we drank and, ate and talked, and it was awesome. And they just really enjoyed their time together. And it is so easy right now in our society, and even young kids, it is so easy for everybody to just be so engrossed in their cell phones.
Right.
And to lose track of the relationships that we have with the people around us. And so it's just an extra special thing to have that as a part of my business.
Yeah.
To really encourage people to really enrich their relationships. It's just awesome. Yeah. It's just really awesome. Yeah.
Just take a deep breath and have a few hours to just relax. Put the world away, kind of.
Like I've always said, like, someone will say, well, why did you start this business? And well, one of my favorite things is being outside. I love going to breweries with my friends, And when your children are grown, like I said, I have high school kids, you can leave them for a little while. You can start dating your spouse again. You can start, spending time with your friends. And that's one of the favorite things that we do. We just go, hey, we send out a text to our friends. We're going to the brewery to watch the sunset. And you just spend time with adults and you're not on your phones. And it's just so important for all those relationships. Yeah.
And even for, a lot of people talk about mental health now,
Yes.
being able to break away and take care of yourself.
And fresh air. Yeah. And so even with like the holidays approaching, like people aren't going to want to be outside.
Right.
But you can still do picnics inside.
Yeah.
Like I'll set them up in people's living rooms or their sunrooms. I just did one inside a couple weeks ago because it was raining. And I was like, don't cancel. And so it was a 10-year wedding anniversary and they celebrated with their children. And those little girls were so excited for their picnic. So it was just awesome. And I love it. I love that I get to meet all these people and I love that I get to bring them happiness, Yeah.
So people don't have to pause their events or whatever for the winter. They can still get in touch with you and you can make it happen for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool. So I have one last question for you. What is your vision for your business now?
Oh, okay. I feel like I'm a fairy. Like I'm just going to bring joy to everybody, right? I don't know. Like I think for me, it's one day at a time. Yeah. It's really just, I feel like I've had a really fast start. But I feel like if I can bring picnics and experiences to people and it makes them happy, I'm good with where I am right now. I love that I have 5 little magical helpers that are going to set up a picnic somewhere else while I'm setting some one up, because I feel like that brings more, happiness to more than just one person. And that's ultimately why I decided to hire additional girls, because I thought, well, people are going to my website and they're like, there's no availability. And that might deter people from, even going back and, looking again for another date to try to squeeze in. And so I've really kind of opened it up where, when you go to the calendar, even if you don't see something, I just tell people, email me, because I might have somebody that will pick it up. Right. I might have, some of the girls, if they're not out of town or they don't have their own family events, then they might be able to set it up for you, but we'll do our best to make it happen, know? So, but yeah, long term, who knows? Like I might have people in, closer to Centerville or West Virginia or, places where they want to kind of branch out. And I would certainly, mentor other people to, explain to them, how the business works and, what you could do to kind of get it started in your own area, which would be pretty awesome.
Yeah,
to kind of just branch it out, Yeah. But yeah.
I also think it's cool that you're already evolving the tent idea.
Yeah.
That probably wasn't even, in your mind before, but now you saw a need and you're like, well, we can do that.
I have a girl that reached out to me who is doing her daughter's 18th birthday in, November, December. I've had multiple people actually, November and December, that they want to do the tent and the picnic. And so we're going to start with a picnic and then we'll go back 3 hours later and we'll transform it into a sleepover glamping experience, And you can really fit about 7 beds in that thing, 7 twin-size mattresses. So you can make it happen. Yeah. It's fun. It's so great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your time. I think it's awesome what you're doing. This is so cool. Yeah. I don't know if you had any closing comments you had for people or...
No, not necessarily. I'm just thankful for everybody that's really following along. I think this is a huge blessing for me to be able to be involved in this. And I just love making other people happy, and I really have enjoyed meeting people from around the county and, really making connections too with other business owners. So one additional comment is that I've worked with local florists. We have a cupcake girl that lives in Brookside, balloon artists, so many different people that I've been able to connect with that add to those experiences. And then I'm able to also support other local businesses. So like, Wild Blue Farm has
I just
worked.
saw that. Dusty.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, just amazing. And she would deliver them to my front porch. And I'm just like, you're amazing. This is incredible, because it just made my life so much easier that I can give her the money. I don't, and it's directly from, I'm not making a profit off of that. It's just beautiful flowers and supporting someone else that's local in our community. And I love that. I love that part, but yeah, I just feel, like I said, I just feel really, blessed that I'm able to be a part of this experience and really kind of bring that to other people in the area. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great community to be part of. And I mean, the business owner community is awesome as well.
Yeah, that's it's exciting. It's super exciting.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
I think you have an awesome start already.
Thanks.
And it's going to be
Appreciate
cool to follow you. If you don't already, follow them on Instagram and Facebook. Are they your two main places?
Yep,
Okay.
that's right. Yep.
And then they have their own website, which is
WarrentonPicnicCo.com.
All right, that's easy enough.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of The Heart of Fauquier. If you loved joining us today, give this podcast a great review and subscribe to keep up with new episodes. If you have an office in Fauquier that needs a cleaning service, reach out to Bedrosian Cleaning Services and see how they can serve you. Until next time, thanks for listening.